This is QTV Nightly News. I am Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Here are the news headlines. In a significant move to bolster the Gambia's national security framework, the Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow presided over the review of the highly anticipated National Security Council bill at the National Assembly on Tuesday. On Monday at the National Assembly, the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, Rohi John Manjang, defended her ministry's decision to appoint Lieutenant Colonel Salifou Kor of the Gambia Armed Forces as the Director of the Department of Forestry. In Part 2, we examine how the Gambia's constitution, both a guide and a reflection of the nation's commitment to shaping its future, has evolved over the past 60 years. The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry launched the 18th edition of the International Trade Fair on Tuesday, aiming to provide more opportunities for local and international businesses to showcase their brands. In international news, at the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women in New York, Chidi S.K. Njai, the Deputy Speaker of the Gambia's National Assembly, urged for stronger political will and leadership to advance the rights of women and girls. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. In a significant move to bolster the Gambia's national security framework, Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow presided over the review of the highly anticipated National Security Council bill at the National Assembly on Tuesday. The bill aims to modernize the country's security structures and address emerging challenges. Osman Jatta reports.
In accordance with the 1997 Constitution, President Adama Barrow established the office of the National Security Council in 2017 to advise him on national security matters, including domestic, foreign and military policies. VP Jallow joined National Assembly members in reviewing and making necessary amendments to the 2024 National Security Bill. The bill aims to improve the coordination and efficiency of the Gambia's security sector, playing a crucial role in the country's ongoing security reform. National Assembly members engaged in intense discussions after Vice President Jallow proposed changing the title of the head of the National Security Council Secretariat from CEO to Executive Director. Some lawmakers even suggested the title Security Coordinator, sparking debates over the most appropriate designation. Here are the key arguments from the Deputy Speaker and Chair of the Defense Committee, Honorable Sidi S.K. Njai, Honorable Omar Jame, Namfu Janjambore, and Majority Leader Bile G. Tunkara.
The National Security Council is here, advisor, the Vice President is here, but whatever decision this Parliament want to take and they want to water down this bill, it will be the responsibility of Parliament. You cannot coordinate all the security sectors in the region and the nation, and that your qualifications does not apply or does not include security.
Also, we must not forget that the bill is also meant to actually effect change in the security challenges that the country is facing, reflecting on the security reform. So as such, as much as the position is meant for administration, we must not also compromise for someone with a security background to actually head this particular institution. So that's my take. Thank you.
It does not really necessarily have to bear military terminology or nomenclature. That is clear.
Chair.
And the reason why also we are going for the executive director is to make sure that that man serves as the memorial of the institution. NSA is a political appointee, can be sacked and can be instated. But that man stayed as a memory of the Secretariat, responsible for accounting of funds and administration.
The bill also strategically positioned the Gambia within its geopolitical context, aligning its security objectives with the national development goals outlined in the National Development Plan. The Security Sector Reform Technical Working Group's assessment report covering August to December 2017 highlighted significant deficiencies within the armed and security services, including the absence of effective oversight bodies and outdated legal frameworks governing the sector. Once passed, the bill will address these issues by establishing the Office of the National Security under the National Security Council alongside specialized committees within the council. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
On Monday at the National Assembly, the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, Rohi John Manjang, defended her ministry's decision to appoint Lieutenant Colonel Salifu Kaur of the Gambia Armed Forces as the Director of the Department of Forestry. QTV's Ansumana Isonyasi was in Parliament and he now reports.
First announced on February 21st of this year, Lieutenant Colonel Salifu Kaur's appointment as Director of the Department of Forestry by the Public Service Commission has sparked significant public debate. Many have questioned the logic behind appointing an army officer with little to no experience in forestry management to oversee the country's forestry sector. However, during a plenary session where she responded to these and other concerns raised by National Assembly members, the Minister of Environment, Rohi John Manjang, defended the controversial decision. She emphasized that the Public Service Commission had conducted due diligence and pointed out that the appointment of serving military officers to such positions is not unusual in the sub-region.
The key that has motivated the ministry is to induce ethical behavior within the sector, but more so to also stabilize the security of our forest product and the boundaries of the encroachment that we are encountering. But again, this army officer is trainable and is ready to be trained, and we have already plans to train him.
However, her response led to further scrutiny from several National Assembly members, including Suleiman Saho, Almame Jiba, Lamin Sise, and Mohamed Kante, who represent Central Badibu, Fonyi Kansala, Kiang West, and Busumbala respectively.
Disappointed. I am shocked. You mentioning that since you came to that office, you never had any proposal, any support. So that tells us that your ministry and those institutions under you should be shut down.
An officer who had spoke clearly that he's not a Gambian, but enlisted in the army, came back and be within the force. He's also picked and selected to be a director of forestry. What is your act saying in terms of his employment?
The forest management encompasses so many issues, which is far beyond protecting the forest parks. What would be the negative impact on the results and the motivation of those staffs who you have trained? The department has in fact trained. Send them out, and they rose through ranks, and they are to appoint today, but just to bring an army officer to serve as a director.
Advise the PSC that you make people with capacity that the state is not going to, put additional resource on them to do the job than to train, to employ someone that you are going to train with the resource of the job.
Additionally, several NAMs also called on the ministry to conduct thorough due diligence and engage more extensively with forest users. They also raised concerns about the issuance of licenses to hunters, following feedback from communities near forest areas. Meanwhile, the tabling of the report on the parliamentary inquiry into the $30 million petroleum saga by the Joint Committee of FPAC and PEC was delayed, as the committee requested a 2-week extension to complete their investigation. This request was granted. Following deliberations among several NAMs, Parliament also adopted the report from the Committee on FPAC and the Committee on Education, ICT and Training regarding the Students' Revolving Loan Scheme Bill 2024. Ansmane Nyasi for KTV News.
Now, for 60 years, the Gambia has been a symbol of resilience and sovereignty. Beneath its triumphs lies a story of evolving laws, shifting principles, and ongoing reforms. Central to this journey is the development of the Gambia's constitution, an ever-changing document reflecting the nation's commitment to shaping its future. Mamjara Kamara has the details.
In 1997, the Gambia adopted a new constitution under Jammeh's leadership. While it restored civilian rule, critics argue that it concentrated too much power in the presidency and limited press freedoms and human rights. Here is journalist and civil society activist Muhammad Esba.
We've seen some journalists killed, others went to exile, civil advocates, been beaten and tortured, who can just order for arrest, the closure of any, media house or arbitrary arrest or any kind of form of human rights violation. We've seen the abuse of those powers by the executive. As we call ourselves a new government, we need a new constitution.
The 2016 election marked a turning point. After 22 years of authoritarian rule, Gambians elected Adama Barrow, ushering in hopes of democratic renewal. One of Barrow's promises, a new constitution. In 2018, the Constitutional Review Commission was established to draft a new constitution reflecting the will of the people. The draft, completed in 2020, promised to reduce presidential term limits, strengthen democratic institutions, and expand human rights. Here is Yankuba Manjang, a commissioner of the Constitutional Review Commission, CRC.
The commission was composed of 11 members, and after we've been sworn in, the commission set out to do the work in earnest, to consult with the Gambians, and we have different phases of those consultations. We went to all the 7 regions, but this time around in a more detailed format, going to every constituency, that's the 53 constituencies that we're having, and having consultation with the Gambian people to get their views, their opinions on what they think the 2020 draft should look like. From those consultations, we also received a lot of position papers from the academia, the civil society, interest groups, religious organizations, and like I say, by extension, from all the Gambian societies. People provided position papers as to what they think the constitution should look like. The CRC, taking view of all those submissions, we prepared a draft constitution which was shared with the Gambian public for their input. So the consultation was very, very broad-based.
Here is Marinyang, the founder and executive director of Gambia Participates, a civil society organization that engages communities in constitutional reforms.
For many Gambians, they want a constitution that will guarantee 2 term limits. Now, this can only be guaranteed if you have a constitution that puts deterrence for self-perpetuating rule. Now, the 1997 Constitution does not guarantee you that. However, you have a golden opportunity with this 2024 draft.
The Gambia's journey through its constitutions is a reflection of its struggle for identity, justice, and democracy. The story of its constitution reminds us that the power to shape the future lies in the hands of its people. For QTV News, I am Mam Jara Kamara.
From that story by Mam Jara Kamara, now we will go for a commercial break, and when we return, we still have some more local and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taaw gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy warga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before. With our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan, get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry launched the 18th edition of the International Trade Fair on Tuesday. This year's event aims to offer more opportunities for both local and international businesses to promote their brands, build networks, and expand their market reach. Demba Waiba reports.
At the launch, participants were introduced to a new business app that will allow them to register their brands for stall allocation, conduct transactions digitally, and connect with other businesses. Saul Fraser, chairman of the GCCI Trade Committee, officially launched the 18th edition of the event.
So I'm urging people to make sure that they come to these events, which gives them the opportunity to network, sell, and connect with like-minded people, because this is a true proof of how networking can enhance your business going forward.
The trade fair will showcase a diverse range of enterprises, including restaurants, fashion, cosmetics, tech products, and more. This year's edition is set to run from April 26th to May 25th, 2025. Teresa S. Jara is the Director of Operations at GCCI.
This year, we have had 35 kitchens built specifically for the grounds. We've had major adjustments, structural adjustments of the trade fair. So every year after the trade fair, GCCI takes feedback from the public and from the participants on how do we improve not only the structural aspect of the trade fair, but also the processes of the trade fair. So we ensure that we take those comments and those suggestions into consideration, and year in, year out, we improve them as we go by.
The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry is dedicated to empowering businesses, especially women-owned enterprises, to succeed and compete locally and internationally. While vendors pay $20,000 for stall allocation, they expect high profits during the trade fair. Gas Mbai, a restaurant owner, and Awa Genjoro, a businesswoman, both expressed their gratitude to GCCI.
I am extremely grateful to GCCI for their support, as it has helped me achieve so much. Thanks to the money I earned from the 7th edition, I was able to open a new restaurant. I am thankful for their assistance, and I pray for their continued success, because without them, none of this would have been possible. Thank you, GCCI. This year, I am focusing on selling locally raised chickens, as many people prefer them over imported ones. Additionally, I will be offering new ingredients and introducing new products that I have never sold before.
The event will enable vendors to boost profits by catering for shoppers looking for outfits, shoes, jewelry, and more. It will also offer a platform for leading businesses, particularly women-owned enterprises, to display their latest products and services at the GCCI Trade Fair grounds in Brusubi. Demba Waiba, QTV News.
In an effort to raise awareness and promote the rights of individuals with disabilities, the National Center for Civic Education, NCCE, launched a 10-day sensitization tour across the country. This initiative aims to foster greater understanding, inclusion, and advocacy for disability rights. Favor Ajim tells us more.
The National Youth Center for Civic Education, NCCE, is launching a nationwide tour to inform, educate, and raise awareness about the rights of people with disabilities, a key issue highlighted in the Human Rights Act. This initiative, supported by a UNICEF-funded program, aims to create solutions for the challenges faced by individuals with disabilities in society. It also seeks to change the way parents approach children with developmental difficulties, preventing potential long-term issues. By encouraging balanced decision-making in such cases, the NCCE is committed to finding a path forward to improve the lives of children with disabilities. Musa Sadiat Conte, the representative of the governor of the Upper Region, emphasized the importance of caring for individuals with disabilities.
In the Gambia, the journey towards realizing the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities is ongoing. This forum provides a unique opportunity to reflect on the progress we made as a nation, acknowledge the challenges that remain, and charted a way forward. Persons with Disability Act 2021 marked a pivotal moment in our history.
This is Fatumata Mane, a participant.
Kontan tabake ngana tentu ngadukula tentu ngagambianol tentu. So UNICEF me tentu labake.
I am truly honored to be part of this esteemed gathering, and we pray for the continued success of this program. Remember, every one of us is vulnerable to disability. A single accident could change our lives. Please do not view us as if we are of no value. We are just like everyone else, with the same minds and abilities. On that note, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here today.
Asuma Nasise, the program manager of the National Center for Civic Education, NCCE, lamented the aims and objectives of the disability program.
Today, we gather here as a collective force, united by a common purpose to strengthen the rights and opportunity of persons with disability across all regions in the Gambia. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed stakeholders, this regional line of forum under the theme Collective Approach to Creating Inclusive Environment for Disability Rights in the Gambia is aimed at advancing the rights and inclusion of persons with disability in the Gambia by providing platform for key stakeholders to foster dialogue, collaboration, and learning.
Mohamed Lamin Baji, the representative of the Human Rights Commission, NHRC, reminded the gathering about the fundamental importance of human rights. He emphasized that every individual in the Gambia, as well as across the world, is entitled to enjoy these rights.
We are deeply honored to be part of this important gathering, to be able to share, to be able to also discuss issues that are really affecting persons of disability, and then look for ways forward to be able to implement and then make people understand what their rights are.
People with disabilities are equally entitled to enjoy the same rights and opportunities as everyone else, and it is essential that society acknowledges and supports their full participation in all aspects of life. Reporting for QTV News, I am Favor Ejim.
From that story, now to international news. At the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women in New York, CDSK Njai, the Deputy Speaker of the Gambia's National Assembly, urged for stronger political will and leadership to advance the rights of women and girls. He highlighted that empowering women is crucial for fostering global stability and development. Aliou Cisse has the details.
The parliamentary event was organized by the Inter-Parliamentary Union and UN Women. The theme of this meeting is Parliaments and Beijing Plus 30, resisting the backlash and shifting paradigms towards gender equality. Deputy Speaker Njai recognized women as key players in sustaining peace and development in any country. He urged all stakeholders to collaborate in resisting setbacks to gender equality.
Of course, it has some economic, some social, cultural, political challenges. You know, in a country where you have about 98% Muslims and people hiding behind that, it's a huge challenge. But I believe that there is more, we need more pragmatism, more proactiveness and collaboration, the power of collaborations and working together between the executive and the legislature, and as well as the civil society organization and the development partners.
He highlighted the Gambia government's commitment under President Barrow, citing the upholding of the FGM law as a testament to its dedication to protecting the rights of women and girls.
I want to recognize the important role government of the Gambia under the leadership of President Adam Barrow continues to play in gender equality and women empowerment. Of course, at the national level, we have a very good gender policy and, of course, legislative framework that ensure the protections of rights and welfare of women, particularly the girl child.
The meeting provided a platform to examine the role of parliaments in advancing the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. It also offered an opportunity for members to mobilize and revive their commitment to the development, implementation and enforcement of policies and action plans to achieve gender equality and fulfill women's and girls' rights and empowerment. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, before we end this news bulletin, here's a recap of our main news headlines. In a significant move to bolster the Gambia's national security framework, Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow presided over the review of the highly anticipated National Security Council bill at the National Assembly on Tuesday. On Monday at the National Assembly, the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, Rohi John Manjang, defended her ministry's decision to appoint Lieutenant Colonel Salifou Kor of the Gambia Armed Forces as the Director of the Department of Forestry. In Part 2, we examine how the Gambia's constitution, both a guide and a reflection of the nation's commitment to shaping its future, has evolved over the past 60 years. The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry launched the 18th edition of the International Trade Fair on Tuesday, aiming to provide more opportunities for local and international businesses to showcase their brands. In international news, at the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women in New York, CDSK Njai, the Deputy Speaker of the Gambia's National Assembly, urged for stronger political will and leadership to advance the rights of women and girls. That's all in this news bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye.